Thursday evening to all of you. So, how everyone is doing? Sincere apologies for last 2 days. I was not able to come online and share with you the leadership insights. I was having some personal commitments and I was not able to manage this time. However, I'm come back today again and I'll resuming this leadership insights sharing for all of you to help to the next level. Okay, so I believe you are strongly progressing towards closing your week. You are achieving the day the targets and what are the things you plan for this week. Okay, because this is the Thursday. Tomorrow, one more day to close for the week. Okay, so today I'm coming up with another leadership insight. Maybe some of you already have completed your day and might be traveling or commuting back to home. I just wanted to just plug the headsets in your ear and start listening to me for next 10 to 15 minutes. Because today's topic again, the focus here is to how you can become more effective and influential leader while working in delivering the projects. Because our main objective here is that I want you to build that visibility, the influence on the people who are the decision makers in the leadership ladder. They see you, they observe you, and then they take a decision about you. Okay, that yes, you are the right person for going to the next level. You are the right person for the our future leadership roles. Okay, that's what actually I want to happen with you. And obviously, in the next few months, there will be salary appraisals or promotion appraisals is going to happen. So whatever these sessions which I'm taking 10 to 15 minutes every day is to help you to build and take actions on daily basis in your day-to-day life so that you create that impact and influence. That's what actually my role is. I help and lead. I help mid-career, mid-senior project managers who are actually having good amount of experience now, but this experience is causing a blockage for all of you. It's not helping you to go to the next level of leadership role because there at that level, then there's a different requirement because there's a dimension. The new dimension which is added here is the people. You have to understand the people dimension to go to the next level. Somewhere you started doing that part, but you still not very effective and very much aligned with that one. So this is where you guys build that ecosystem of yours where you operate on daily basis to your standards, your values of leadership, your personality to that leaders with hiding within you. I want you to bring that person out, and to make that bring that person out and to implement the things at the highest standard level. This is where I help and coach you guys. Okay, so that's about me. Now let's go and have today's session. Okay, understand today's session. So let me ask you something honestly. Tell me, have you ever worked very hard on project and then suddenly a stakeholder says to you, no, this is not acceptable. Why has this been delayed? Your team is not managing things properly. Now, and emotionally inside, you feel hurt because you're doing great work there, right? And then you start thinking, why these stakeholders are talking to me like this? Don't see don't they see our efforts? Why am I being blamed unfairly for this? And slowly, inside you, the frustrations become it arises and it becomes emotional attachment. And today I want to talk to you about something extremely important for our leadership growth. I don't want you to take stakeholders' behavior personally. And how not to do it, how not to take it personally, that's what I'm going to share with you. Because many technically strong professionals, they damage their relationship, and also they damage their leadership image, not because of the poor work, but because of emotional reactions. Okay, so there's a hidden leadership trap. There's a blind spot. Most professionals think that stakeholders' behavior is personal. Okay, many times, stakeholders are reacting to the pressure, fear, risk, deadlines, politics, or expectations. They are not at all having any intention to attack your identity. Now, I come to know about this when I read this book, The Four Agreements. Very powerful book. I want you to read that one. In that book of the four agreement, one powerful agreement in this book said to, I I learned from this is that don't take anything personally. Why? Because people's behavior is often the projection of their own reality. Yeah, people's behavior is often projection of their own reality. Stakeholder pressure is usually about business anxiety, not personal hatred about you or towards you. That changes emotional maturity completely. Is that a bulb on moment for you? Stakeholder pressure is usually about business anxiety, and their behavior is the projection of their own reality. And what is that reality? That's what actually being as a leader we have to find out. Okay, I'll tell you one more. I'll tell you a real workplace situations from my project experience. See, we were handling a very high pressure project, and suddenly approvals got delayed. Contractors' issues been increased. Timelines started slipping. One stakeholder, senior stakeholder, became extremely aggressive during the meeting, and he said, "Tushar, your team is losing control of the project." And honestly, emotionally inside me, also I got angry. I started. If defensiveness has started, ego got triggered. But then I thought immediately that that's not going to help me. So I changed my attitude. I changed my attitude towards that situation, and I started saying, you know, my mind was actually saying something. It was my mind was immediately started saying, "Are you don't know how much effort we are putting. This is full. This is not fully our fault. Why are you talking like this?" That was my mind talking about. And this is where many professionals make mistakes. They lose emotionally. That they become emotional, and they lose leadership presence. They react emotionally, they become defensive, they argue, they explain more, they take comments personally. But that day, I consciously decided not to get into all these idiot stuff. Okay. See, I obviously I read books in the past. I had a mentor that time, and I realized that stakeholder is emotionally reacting to the project situation, the project risk. I just gave a message to myself that, okay, let's not go in a negative side. Let's think empathetically that these stakeholders not attacking me personally. Okay, this is what the thought I gave to my mind. So instead of reacting emotionally, what the stakeholder is saying to me, I responded very calmly. I said, okay, I understand the concern. I understand the current risks are impacting our project delivery. But you know what? I have done a quick analysis of the situation, and these are some of the root causes. And I also, with my team, have come up with some recovery plan, some corrective actions, and we already taking. But there are some actions we need a discussion with all of you. So, would you like to go more detail into that one? This is just what I said. So what I tried to hear is I actually acknowledge that person's reality, what he's coming from, where he's coming from, and then I try to give him a clarity that yes, it is happened, and we are not having our hands folded. We are actually working on it, and we have done the analysis. There are some areas we are working straight away, but some areas we need your help. So I'm not trying to showing that I'm a superman, that I will do everything. I can fix it everything. Okay. So I want them to be with me in the journey. So this is where I need an alignment. And you know what happened? Suddenly the entire room energy changed, because when you show that calm leadership, that reduces the emotional escalations of that person. That day I realized mature leaders separate emotions from situation. And there's a leadership psychology behind this emotional detachment. I want you to read this book, Ego is the Enemy. Now, this book explains that ego makes us emotionally defensive. What does it mean? It means The moment we receive this feedback or escalations or criticisms, it touches our identity, and our ego reacts emotionally. So the if you have that leadership maturity, the leadership maturity begins with it begins when ego stops controlling the reactions. When the ego stops getting into that action mode, that's a huge difference. That's a huge shift you need to bring in. Now, how this huge shift to implement, and I have come up with a framework, and for last 20 plus years of experience, I realized that some of these stakeholder behaviors we can decode, and you can ask. I come up with some questions that you can ask to yourself, which will help you to decode the other person behavior. Will you be interested? Will you be excited to learn that one? Yeah. I call this as a stakeholder behavior decoding framework. See, when stakeholders behave aggressively, I want you to ask yourself some of this question. The first question is, what pressure are they facing internally? As I mentioned to you earlier, the stakeholders' aggressiveness or reactions or frustrations is their own reality, is reflecting, projecting their own reality. So, what pressure? The first question you ask is, what pressure are they facing internally? They may be having leadership pressure. They may be having some business risks to taking care of. They may be having some escalation from clients. They are having some financial stress. What pressure? Second, second question: what is that fear behind? What is that fear which is actually driving their behavior? The fear of delay, fear of failure, or fear of reputation damage. Just like you feel reputation damage for yourself, same thing the same for them also. A fear of uncertainty. Yeah? That's the second question. The third question you should ask yourself is, what outcome are they actually looking for? What outcomes or the results actually they are seeking for? See, most stakeholders want confidence and clarity. That's it, not emotional conflict. Okay. So these three questions ask yourself during this situation when someone is aggressive with you, someone is emotional, someone is asking you tough questions. This framework changes your perception about other, and you become more empathetic about other. Okay. So that was the framework I thought I should share with you, and I want to give you a clear distinction between what is the wrong emotional reaction versus leadership response reaction. Okay. So a wrong emotional reaction example, when someone is asking you some tough question and aggressively coming on you or commenting on you, generally what happens, our emotional reaction comes out, which is like, it's not our fault, this is not the only my problem. This is unfair. Don't you see the efforts we are putting in? We already informed this earlier. These are emotional reactions. What happen if you give this emotional reaction? It will increase the tension. It will decrease the trust with you. It will damage actually your image, honestly speaking. And then the people who are seeing you, they're observing you at the top ladder, their perception about your leadership weakens. Okay. Now that was a wrong emotional response. Now what about the leadership maturity response? If someone is really asking you question or tough questions, or giving you a comment or feedback, show the leadership maturity response. How? First thing, acknowledge what they say. I understand. I understand the concern. Now give them a little more information on how this is happening. This has happened because of the XYZ reason, and the current impact is X. So this is you acknowledging the situation. This, you also telling them very honestly that yes, this has affected our project delivery. The impact is on this area of the project objective. Now they will say, okay, thank you for accepting that. Thank you for accepting. What next? Are you going to stay there only, or what are you going to do? So then you should follow with saying that don't worry, we have done analysis and we have already identified some actions to take on, and we already taken some actions. These are some recovery options we have, but for that recovery options we need your support. We need you to take some. We need you to help us take some decisions. Would you kind enough to stop, sit with me for, and discuss in detail? Okay, what happened here? You are calm in that pressure situation. Your confidence is clearly seen that you are not someone who just only throwing the responsibility on the shoulders. Actually, you're taking accountability of that one. You're taking it ownership of that, and you're finding the solution, the solution to that problem. You're taking everyone directing towards it. Okay, that's how the trust of the stakeholders improves on you, and the people who are watching you, observing other people at the leadership, senior leadership, the perception about your leadership changes. That's positive. That's I call as executive leadership presence. Now the question is how to build that in reality. Okay, the first thing I gave you the framework, which you have to ask the question, but now you need to shift internally also. And I want to give you three shifts that you should implement practically. The first shift is I want you to move from emotional reactions to situational understandings. Don't ask this question, why are they attacking me? Ask what pressure is driving this behavior, what fear is driving this behavior. This instantly reduces your emotional intensity. Okay, that's the shift number one. Now, the shift number two, obviously, when you do emotional reaction, your defensiveness increases. So, I want you to move from defensiveness to leadership stability. So during pressure, slow down your tone, slow down your breathing, slow down your response. Calmness changes your room energy. That's a shift number two. Shift number three, I want you to move from personal identity to leadership identity. Okay. See, during the difficult stakeholder interaction, just ask yourself, how would emotionally mature leader respond here? Identity changes behavior instantly. So the question is what identity you want to project in the crisis situation, because that's what the people start perceiving about you. So the choice is yours. Okay. Now this is what actually I want to share with you today, and now we are coming close to the topic. I but before I go, I want to share with you one more powerful thing that in leadership journey cannot avoid this situation. You will face difficult conversation, unfair criticism, emotional meetings, pressure conversations. That is actually good, honestly speaking, because we want those experiences in our leadership journey. If you really can't, if you don't have those type of challenges, then how can you build that leadership muscle? Okay, if everything is very good, 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 then you can't build that muscle. So to build the leadership muscle, you have to go through these things. But the real leadership is not you controlling someone's behavior or stakeholders' behavior. The real leadership is that you controlling your own emotional response. Because the moment you stop taking everything personally, your clarity improves, your calmness improves, and your presence as the executive leader also improves. And this is what help you to start trusting you, help others to trust you more under pressure situation. So next time, if any stakeholders reacts emotionally, don't ask why are they behaving like this with me. Ask how what identity I want to project in this situation. How can I respond like a leader behavior? What fears are driving them this behavior? What pressures behind this which is driving this behavior? These questions can transform your career forever. Now, if this message, if this topic which I shared with you today, if it is feeling resonated with you, if it is adding value to you, I want you to comment calm in the comment section. And in case you are one of those mid-career, mid-senior project leader who experiencing these challenges on daily basis, but it is difficult. You are not able to implement that on daily basis, and you cope up with that situations, and you really want someone to handhold you and tell you what exactly to be understanding your situation in detail and then telling you what exactly to be done. I want you to book one-to-one session with me. There's a link in the comment section, or you can go to my LinkedIn profile and have a book an appointment with me. And the good thing is, tomorrow, which is Friday at 8 p.m., I'm conducting a webinar, the Project Leadership Mastery. There, I'm going to talk about my three-step influential leader blueprint, which help you to build your trust with the people who are decision makers, to build your authority with the people who you are working with, so that they can see that you're a strategic person. And third, you're creating that environment of and the environment where people thrive. You're creating your legacies. Okay, so the link again in the comment section. Join the webinar tomorrow at 8 p.m. Okay. Uh, so the link will be there in the comment section. Join there. And I also want to hear from you if there you have any questions, if you have any views, or you are not agree with some of my observations. Yeah, feel free and check with me. DM me directly on LinkedIn, and I would like to respond to your questions. Okay. So until that moment, I'll see you tomorrow again, and I'll sign off tomorrow. Today, this is your coach Tushar Chaudhary from Bangalore, and we'll see you again. I'll see you again tomorrow at 6 p.m. Until that moment, take care of yourself and God bless you.